Canada, us, collectively got some good news on Friday. We now have a third approved COVID-19 vaccine. The AstraZeneca vaccine has now been approved. The AstraZeneca vaccine's gotten some criticism for being less effective than the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. That might be true. It seems to be true, in fact, when we're talking about mild or moderate illness. It does not seem to be true when we talk about critical illness and death. All three of these now approved vaccines seem to be equally good, and they're really good at preventing the worst outcomes of COVID-19. So, with these three vaccines, we can start speeding up our entire vaccine campaign, which was when I sort of inevitably wandered down the path to politics. And I realized that the conservatives are going to need a new plan. Let me say this at the outset. We need to avoid the easy temptation to politicize all of our response to COVID-19. Obviously, there are going to be political consequences of this. I'm not naive about that. Of course, there's going to be political consequences. Leaders that do well will presumably be rewarded. Leaders that do badly presumably will be punished. Fair enough. But I still think we need to make sure that we are not simply decrying things done by politician X because we would normally dislike that politician, or lauding politician Y because we would normally like that politician. We actually have to stay kind of narrowly focused on the facts on the ground. The facts on the ground politically are this: the conservatives have very effectively, over the last few months, raised the alarm about Canada's problems with lining up vaccine. But there was always a danger in that strategy. The danger in that strategy was that the Liberals, in fact, were going to do better than expected. The Conservatives, having done a really good job raising Canadians' concern about this, and you can see it in polling, where in recent months, the Liberals have been coming down, not really to the benefit of the Conservatives, who are pretty much static around their usual 30% range, but they're bringing the Liberals down because Canadians are freaked out that we're falling behind on vaccine. Well, guess what? What if we don't fall behind on vaccine? The Liberals are not invulnerable on the pandemic file. They have made a lot of dumb choices. They've made a lot of mistakes. I don't think the response the Liberals have had to COVID-19 is as good as they often get credit for. And I think when this is all over, there's going to be a review of things, and we will start to see the various and overlapping ways that the Liberals screwed up. Fine. Here's the problem. That's going to take a while. That might not be until after the next election. And if you're the Conservatives and you've spent months coming up with a narrative that the Liberals have screwed up on vaccines, and then the Liberals line up a third vaccine, and according to reports, they might be close to lining up a fourth, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And this is an if, we are relatively early in the delivery schedule for both of those vaccines, the Liberals could end up either at least meeting their target or even beating it. If you're the Conservatives and you've pinned yourself to the notion that the Liberals are screwing up on vaccines, and even if the Liberals don't have to overperform on vaccines, if they only perform, and that's when you're heading into the next election, that's not great. The Conservatives are going to need another plan. They're going to need something to bring to the Canadian people other than Justin Trudeau screwed up on vaccines. We keep seeing glimmers of this, kind of an outreach to the working class. We might start seeing a lot more of that now. I think the Liberals are vulnerable. I think Justin Trudeau can be defeated. But I don't think the Conservatives can take for granted that a vaccine shortage is going to be what does it.